So now as a founder, let's say I've done my research, I feel I've got enough right. And I've scoped and identified the problem I want to solve. And I realize that I can't do it alone. Walk me through how you should start thinking about staffing a team or identifying a co-founder. Like, what is the thought process and what kind of characteristics are you looking for in people?
Okay, so if you are a technical founder, so you're super good at technology, then you know that, okay, I may be able to create a product that is technologically sound, but I'm not a marketeer.
I can't sell it to save my life.
I can't sell it to save my life. So I need somebody who believes in what I'm doing enough to be able to sell it. Well, there are lots of people who sell anything.
So like the Steve Wozniak to Steve Jobs.
Exactly.
Right.
So Steve Jobs could sell anything.
He could sell anything.
And Wozniak could develop anything technically. So together they made a strong team. To find that kind of person, you need to be hanging about with people who are young, who are driven, who want to be in the entrepreneurial space, because not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. You know, to say, okay, Faizan, today I'm saying you should become an entrepreneur. Who am I to tell you to become an entrepreneur? You should decide that, right?
Right.
That this is something I'm driven by. I lose sleep over it, that I'm going to do this. And if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be happy. A lot of young people want to become entrepreneurs. They want to start their own businesses. They want to create impact. They don't want to work for anyone else. So that's how it all starts.
So if I'm a technical guy, I need to find someone who's a sales and marketing sociable person who has those qualities you mentioned, that they want to work for themselves and they're willing to put in the time, effort, energy to do so.
And who also believe in that idea.
And who believe in the idea.
And then you need someone who is going to financially manage the company.
No, so wait a second. What you're saying, finding a co-founder or a team is harder than doing the research then?
Yes.
I thought the research is going to be running around and collecting data, which is annoying because you're burning so much time, effort, energy. But how do you find that right fit? It's like a marriage.
It is. Absolutely. And also...
So like is there a Rishta auntie of the startup world that finds co-founders?
No. Many try, but it's not possible. You need to find your own. Okay. So in the early days of the Nest, I used to do this. We used to have...
So you were the Rishta auntie?
I hope not. But we used to have founder matchmaking sessions where young people who were interested in becoming entrepreneurs or were entrepreneurs, may not have succeeded in their own idea, would come and hang out and meet each other. So meeting new people and finding out what they were doing, what they were interested in, becoming sort of friends, and then deciding, okay, let's have this first conversation on whether would you like to work with me on this idea. And then the most important thing that many founders forget is once you decide that these are the people I want to work with, document it. It is like a marriage.
The Sunnat way, by the way. Document everything.
Document everything. Because what happens if 6 months or 1 year down the road, once the product is there and you want to go forward with it, one of you decides that I'm not interested anymore. I'd rather just get a job and be done with it. I'm tired or I'm not interested. What happens? How much of the shares will that person take away with them? What part of the business do they own? All of that. It needs to be documented. Because, you know, that is the way to do it.
So how often does the non-documentation take place?
More often than you would want.
So more often it's not documented and that causes
because they're friends and they say, oh, you know, we're friends. We wouldn't do anything to hurt each other, all of that. And then later on down. And sometimes there are 3 founders, which makes it even more complicated. And then one of them decides, no, not interested anymore. I'm leaving the country, or I've got a job offer from this MNC. I'm not going to do this anymore, but I own 1/3 of the company. So give me my money. And the company is now worth this much. So this is how much you should give.
Is that why, do you bring so who can you bring into this situation? Is it a lawyer? Is it someone else that can help the 3 of them or the 2 of them work through this?
So yes, that's why there are now startup lawyers who work with these people, who don't charge a whole lot of money in the initial phases when these companies are being set up, in the hope that once they start to scale, they will be used as proper lawyers and be
Right.
paid the right amount of money.
Right.
That is the best way to do it, because the lawyer, that's why we have lawyers come in and talk about the risks that these people are
Right.
taking going into this together, and what are the safeguards they need
Makes
to put
sense.
in. Yeah.
And so coming back to one other thing, you talked a lot about finding the right team and the right partner, maybe a couple of co-founders or whatever. You touched on matchmaking. You touched on networking and meeting people. But there's a contradiction there. If I'm a technical co-founder, probability and likelihood, and I'm stereotyping, which I shouldn't, but I will, you're most likely an introvert. You're most likely a product guy who wants to sit behind and build stuff or solve a problem. You're not the social guy. You're not great with people. You're great with building that thing and you're the best at it. How would you find that partner when that is not your forte?
That's why you need to go to events.
But you go to an event and you're not comfortable speaking to people, introducing yourself. Like it's overwhelming, right? For this kind of a personality.
But you need to learn, because otherwise you're not going to be able to build a business. On your own, you're never going to build a business. Or you might start a business, but it's not going to go anywhere all by yourself.